Hi everyone, we're going to go over how to publish press releases. So this is going to be a quick video covering, I guess, the 3 or 2 steps, which is how to publish in Cascade, where to get it, and there is a third piece, which is how to format the pictures for these releases. So to log into Cascade, just to give you a reminder, this is the URL for it. This home.act part is what you see once you are logged into the Cascade, but the URL that you want to go to is everything ending with 8443. And you're going to log into that with your CSU Pueblo credentials. So what you use to log into your computer, and it should have that same password. So once you are logged into Cascade, you're going to go to a site, the CSU Pueblo main site, and you're going to see all of these different root folders that make up different parts of our website. It's all alphabetized, so you're going to go down to the news folder. Now in the news folder, I'm going to click on the folder and I'm just going to see this drop down that has all the different dates for press releases. Since we are publishing for 2020, I'm going to click on this little greater than symbol, and that's to actually go inside of the 2020 folder. Another way to do this is to double click or right click and then select view. So whichever one you find to stick the most. So clicking on this greater than symbol, I see it on the right hand side, folder 2020. So I know I'm inside of the 2020 folder. Now I'm going to click to add content. So you have various options to choose from. Since this is just a press release example, you're going to want to click news and then article. Now, I guess before going into what to include in these sections, I'll explain that page name is what makes up the URL. So by adding content inside of the news 2020 folder, we're making up a URL that says csupueblo.edu/news/2020, and then whatever this page name URL is. But since that makes up the URL, everything needs to be lowercase and separated by dashes. And we also want to include the date of the press release. Then display name is what appears in a navigation. And then title is what actually appears as the title of the page. So before I go into other details of Cascade, let's go see the press release. So you're going to go to Quip. If you are someone that's assisting, so say an intern or a work study assisting in this task, you're most likely going to have it assigned to you in these tasks, in this task section. So if you click on that, you can see add release to Cascade, add release to Wolf Den, and then we have other items that are related to press releases. If you don't see anything tagged, you can always go to the folders and then the MCCR folder. All of these folders usually have some press release associated with them. You also can go to the updates view and see where the communication director, this time instance, Haley, where she's adding these press releases for access. So let's look at my tasks and let's look at one example or one of the press releases that we're going to get published today. We have these to-do items that help us do the handoff from Haley writing it to Haley's done writing it, giving us that cue of, okay, the press release is ready, and we have both the release and the photo to publish, all within Quip. So as you can see, Haley has notified web team that the release has been completed. She's checked it off, which means that the press release is done, and she notified us this release is ready to be published. All you need to do is click on the release and then it should start automatically downloading. I didn't realize this, so in a previous attempt of this example, I clicked on this release like 20 times. It downloaded 20 times to my computer. So just give it a minute to actually start that download. My computer really quick. So now that you've downloaded the press release, you also see that there's a picture. My initial reaction when I saw this picture is it's squished. We're not going to be able to use it for the web. So we always want to practice image standards for web photos, nothing squished or enlarged or stretched in any way. But when I click on this image, let's see, as I did, when you see the preview, it actually fits nicely. So this is an image that we're also going to want to save. So I'm going to open with preview. File, save. And I'm just going to save this in a random place since I'm going to edit this image. This isn't the one that's actually going to go on the press release. We need to resize it first. So now I'm going to go to my downloads. As you can see, I wasn't joking. I literally downloaded this example 20 times since it takes a little bit for Quip to download files. So this is the press release that we have. What we want to put on the website is everything before this little disclaimer. We actually don't need that for the web since we have a disclaimer at the very bottom footer. But this is the title: Colorado State Pablo Foundation Alumni Association Open Nominations for Outstanding Young Alumni Awards. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to reference the date, August 25th. Now going back to Cascade, since this makes up the URL, we're going to want to put the date of the release to kick it off. And then normally I just paste the title. It does not meet the naming conventions since everything needs to be lowercase, but Cascade has this really nice feature in which you just use a suggested name. So if I use a suggested name, it'll convert everything to lowercase for me without me having to type it in myself. Then I'm going to go to display name and I'm going to paste that title. Going down to the parts of the press release within Cascade. For release date, we're going to choose the date when that's specified on the release. That's going to be August 25th. Featured article means that you want it to appear on the homepage, and all of these, unless specified otherwise inside of Quip or by a member of our team, you always want it to be a featured article. Now for image. That's where we're going to start editing that image that was provided inside of Quip. So what we're going to do is we're going to open Illustrator. And let me move my little zoom box. So I have Illustrator right here. And when you first open it up, it's going to give you a menu kind of like this to start a new design inside of Illustrator. So you don't need to name it anything. You don't need to save this file. This is what I normally do. I just specify this artboard that I need, and it needs to be 770 for width, and then 640 for height. 770, yep, that's right. And then I'm gonna click create. So once I have this square, I'm gonna click file, place, and then I'm gonna fetch that photo that we just downloaded. And all I have to do is click and it should drop that photo for me. If I want to zoom out on a Mac, it's Command minus that you have to click. So I'm hitting Command minus and I'm zooming out. And then the space bar gives me this little hand mark. So with the space bar, I'm gonna just move this to be center. Now I'm gonna click on the picture, select embed. Why did it do that? I don't know why I did that. So let's try that one more time. It's a JPEG. I'm not sure why I did that. So we're gonna try it again. I placed it. Now I'm clicking the shift symbol while I drag the image size down. And that's going to keep the size conventions of this image. So this lady didn't make the cut since she doesn't fit the frame of the image. So that's just their press releases. You're gonna have to make decisions like that on the fly. Gotta work with what you got. Gonna make sure that Tim is centered though, without exposing this lady that sadly will not make the cut for the picture. So now I'm gonna crop image. It's telling me that I have to embed the picture, which I tried. Okay, now it's letting me embed the image. So see, we have glitches all the time. We just work through them. So I'm just cropping this like I would in any other software, and I'm gonna click apply. So now I have this image that fits how we want it to fit within those conventions. So I'm gonna select that image one last time. I'm gonna go to File, Export, and then Save for Web. Now I wanna make sure that we have this picture compressed. So this looks like it's compressing the image. I'm looking at these values right here. Quality at 100% means that the image is exactly like its highest quality. This we want to lower down without sacrificing the way the image looks. So at 30%, it's giving us a small preview of what the image would look like, but it's gonna save at a much smaller file size. If you're in doubt whether the picture looks too pixelated, you can always click preview and it should open a new screen of what that image looks like with those compressed sizes. So I'm gonna save, comfortable with that. I'm saving this in my internal, or my own image folder that I have. The news conventions are the same though, or the image conventions. I'm gonna name this news and then distinguished alumni, something that's specific to this article that I can later reference. So now that that image is saved, in Cascade, when it says to choose image, I'm gonna click to choose file, then I'm gonna go to upload. Now this is, I guess, kind of tricky, not too tricky. In news, you're gonna click 2020 and then underscore image. And that's so that you add that image in the underscore image folder for 2020. So that way we know where all of the 2020 images live in one central location. I'm gonna choose the file from my computer and I'm gonna look for that new image that's resized. And I'm gonna upload and select choose. You always wanna have alternative text for a news image, so we can put President Monte and distinguished alumni. Author, we're gonna reference the article. I can find it. Okay, it's Amber Shipley. Author title, Communications and Events Manager. Pay particular attention to whether communication has an S or not when someone's providing a title or a department name, and also whether there's an ampersand or an and. So for our team, it's marketing communications with an S, and then the ampersand for and. For organization, we usually put the department since all of these are internal CSU Pueblo press releases, so it's redundant to put CSU Pueblo. So we're gonna put foundation, and then for contact number, it is, I'm just gonna copy and paste this. The official name for the foundation is CSU Pueblo Foundation. So the next field is summary. For summary, I'm gonna grab the first line from the press release. Not the location piece since it's a CSU Pueblo website. Okay. For category, most of the time you're going to select all of them. Just think of the ones that are relevant for this type of release. You'll become more familiar with these, not prospective students, as you publish more press releases. All right. Nothing on the left column. For main content section, you're going to select full width content. And then going back to the press release, you're going to copy all of the text up until that disclaimer area. So I'm just going to copy and then paste. What I'm looking for once I've pasted this inside of Cascade is to make sure that there's this little P symbol at the bottom. This means that everything was added as paragraphs in HTML. Just to double check that everything with the HTML looks good, there's this little source code symbol. What you should see is this nice little start, like P tag per paragraph. So an opening P tag is this, and then this is a closing P tag. So all of these represent the little paragraphs. If you ever see something that's like a BR, that means that there's an issue with the HTML, or that it's published as one single paragraph and broken technically, or adding breaks with HTML. You want separate paragraphs. So again, this is what you're shooting for. Open, close, several paragraphs. Since this is referencing the CSU Pueblo website, instead of having the complete URL, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this URL out and hyperlink the CSU Pueblo Foundation homepage. Hyperlink is this little button here that looks like a chain. We're gonna choose the internal page. If whenever you're browsing, choosing a page, you're gonna click browse up here, and then browsing is gonna take you to the last folder you were at. I'm gonna go click on CSU Pueblo main site to see all of the root folders. And then find the foundation. Oh, I obviously passed the F. Oh my gosh. There it is. So the foundation index page is the home page. Sorry, I keep looking at my battery, almost dying. So in that index page, I'm gonna click choose, okay. And there are no breaks in between the paragraphs. Everything looks good. That's all I need to do for the press release. I'm gonna click save and preview. Since this is a new page, I'm not gonna have the option to preview what it looks like until after I click submit. So I'm gonna click submit. Always do check content and submit to make sure you catch any typos. These are all names, so we're gonna ignore. Accessibility looks good. So now we can actually see the preview of what that press release looks like. We have our image, we have the author, and we have everything that looks fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click publish, to production, to staging. And we're gonna go to the index page on the main website, which is the home page. Here. And we should be able to see that press release also populate on that home page. So I'm just gonna click publish on the home page again, to production and staging, so that press release automatically appears on the home page. So that's how you edit the image for the press release, how you add it to Cascade, and also how you access it within Quip. In the first times that you actually publish press release, if you're a work study that's supporting with this task, we'll make sure that we have the back and forth before you're first published, just to make sure that I help you catch any errors and for you to transition on this task. So before you publish anything, please double check with me and we can go over any updates that need to be made just until you get comfortable with this publishing process. Now, if you have any questions on image editing, there are a lot of resources online on how to edit, compress an image inside of Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever software that you prefer as well. So Illustrator is just the way I do it. Feel free to compress the image and size it in a tool that works for you. And if you have any questions, always reach out to me or to webdev@csupueblo.edu. Thanks.